Hi everyone, it's Kristy Began. I'm here today on Friday. Everybody's happy it's Friday. I am. But we're here today and we're going to be talking to another designer who I'm really excited to introduce you to. Fun fact, she lives maybe 15 minutes from me. So I'm really excited to actually get to meet her in person, hopefully one day very soon. So let me go ahead and I'm going to bring on Rhonda Newton. I hope everyone is doing well. Hopefully, she'll check this out. How's everyone doing? Hi, Zelina. Hey.
Hello.
Hi. How are you, Rhonda?
How are you?
The rehab queen, you are here.
Thank
Oh,
you.
it's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Thank you.
On this, as I was just sharing with the audience before I brought you on, that you live probably 15 minutes from me. So we have our first day of snow. Like, I don't know if you caught that,
I,
but there was
I
some
have not looked out the window on
there
that
was
too.
some flurries.
Just a little bit.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on today. Thank you for joining us. And, we're going to talk all about Foyr and all about you and how Foyr and utilizing Neo and within your business, how that's helped you. And so if you could just take a few minutes and introduce yourself and tell us about you, your business, and how you got started.
Sure. I'm Rhonda Newton, aka the Rehab Queen. I have been in business for about 4 years now. This was starting off during COVID, of course, just doing home improvement projects on my own, and then kind of branched out and had a few opportunities where a couple of people liked some of the work that I did and took a chance and gave the opportunity, and it kind of just branched off from there. So I have been 4 years strong right now, and still trying to, navigate this whole new experience as an interior designer. It has been very fulfilling, which is why I'm here, because I have to give much props to Foyr to that.
That's
Really
awesome.
found expand my business rather since I've been using the program.
So tell me about that. How, what did you run into that prompted you to say, hey, like, is there something out there that I need? Or how did you come across it? And then once implementing it, how did it change your business?
Sure. So basically, when I first started with this process, trying to explain to clients, giving them a vision, you may use a couple of mood board programs, pictures to kind of collage of pictures to try to show clients, what direction we wanted to go. However, what I found is that, my ideas are so broad, I can see them, I can visualize them, but how could I show my clients exactly, what I wanted them to be able to see? And so I just happened to come across, I saw a ad where you all were offering a trial for 14 days. And I said, okay, let me go ahead and see what this program is about. Signed up. I actually used it on one of my first commercial projects. It was actually a cafe, and I kind of started from there. It was Chroma Fit. They gave me the opportunity to kind of like help them out with their refresh. Did that, and I used the program, and it was amazing. Like they were actually able to see exactly what I had visioned for that space. And so,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to ask, did you feel as though once they were able to see it, did that speed up the process of getting to a yes?
Yes, it did. It actually helped. That's what really solidified getting the yes, which is having a program, being able to show them a visual. The 3D imaging was very, phenomenal. So that really helped out. And they were actually able to just, see it. And they was like, absolutely, let's go forth.
That's awesome.
that has been very helpful and instrumental in other projects that I've come across. I've come across residential projects as well as other commercial projects. And being able to do that and use that program has really been what has solidified a lot of the business that I've received in the last couple of years. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What brings to mind that maybe, people don't always think about, or what you said brings to mind, and I feel like I'm talking in, bits and pieces here. That being said, what comes to my mind is that it's, not just a residential program, right? I don't want to assume, but maybe assuming, a lot of people think it's just for homes, and yet, you talked about, I think, a salon. I think I heard
Had a couple,
you've done cafes and restaurants. That's incredible. I did a pickleball facility.
right.
Yeah. So
And, so, and that really helped. I had a couple of clients that had some salon suites. And what I like about Foyr is I'm able to put my ideas, into a presentation for the client. And then
mhm,
the challenge is to try to mimic that, right? Try to find all of the detailed items that I put into it and how we can mimic it.
mhm,
And there are, maybe a couple of modifications here or there, but for the most part, it's usually spot on. And so I'm really
yeah,
excited about the upcoming projects that I just completed, rather. And I want to be able to show those projects in its entirety once the suite owners are ready.
right.
And just really excited so that I can really show what I started off with, what that process was like on Foyr, and then how I put it into implementation with the actual salon suite itself. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
excited about. I also have a restaurant project that I have worked on. They actually are bidding for an expansion in Baltimore. And
Oh,
so
that's
we
cool.
had to provide a presentation
Hmm.
to the actual owner of the space to see if they could actually win the bid for that.
Hmm.
But it's been very phenomenal and instrumental
Right.
in I've been doing recently.
Right. And I can only imagine, as a business owner who, is in a brick and mortar type facility that's looking to invest a bunch of money into expanding into their business, that, somebody coming in and saying, hey, I'm capable to do this. Like, you have to bring a level of professionalism that either meets or exceeds, themselves, that they're going to feel comfortable enough to put that money and that trust of their livelihood into your hands. Like, that's a really big deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is a big deal, but
Yeah.
and that's why you need it,
Hmm.
and again, as I talked to you yesterday, we had this funny conversation. I'm not a traditional interior designer,
Yeah.
right? um
Tell me
you know
about that.
and so yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm not a traditional interior designer. I didn't attend any major fashion institutes. I do, I am a government service employee. That is my,
Thank
prime.
you.
Yes. And so, I wanted to be able to come into this industry where it is not viewed as, me coming in and having being a dual career, that this is a hobby. And how do you,
Hmm.
it's all about presentation. It's all about how you're able to, present your business to your clients, and being able to provide a package that is well received and
Hmm.
they're actually taking you seriously.
Correct.
So think that, like I said, Foyr is a game changer for me.
Yeah.
I have nothing but positive
Yep.
things to say
Yep.
about.
Yeah. So I did see one question come across, and it was, how easy or difficult is it to create a commercial space in Foyer? Do you want to give
Sure,
your thoughts on that?
sure. I think it's relative. It's not really difficult. It's actually a very user friendly application. One of the things that I think is, that helps me is I actually have to go and look at the space, right? I'm able to look at the space. I'll take a video of the space. I'll do the measurements, and then I'll bring that back and actually, start doing the drawing in Foyr with
Hmm.
the size dimensions of the room, and then just kind of take off there. And it's really not difficult. It's no different than, using the program for even a residential space. It's no different. I think that
Hmm.
pretty much the same. Probably the only challenge that one may have, and it's really not, because when you start indicating or adding all of the detail, right? So if I have a space that's about, maybe 10,000 square feet, right? You're putting in a lot of detail into that space, into a commercial space. And so where you probably would have a challenge is, being able to, especially, I know for me, I like to have that, they ask you the three options of how detailed do you want it,
Mm-hmm.
your 3D images to be. And I always select, I don't do the optimal, I do the actual, top.
Mm-hmm. The
Because
12K.
the 12K. I want to see all the
Yeah.
detail, and when you're going through a large space, especially when you're doing your video renderings,
Mm-hmm.
it can take some time, but it's worth it, right? And you can always edit the video, but it's a large space, so you would want to be able to show a client
Mm-hmm.
walking from the beginning of that space coming into the front door, what it would look like in the sides, what it would look like in the main part of the space, depending on
Right.
what place is. And so for me, that is important. So
Yeah.
it's not that difficult at all. It's
Right.
actually
Yeah. If you think about it, like the space is a space, you're going to create a square, a rectangle, whatever the shape of that,
mhm,
building is. Having done commercial spaces myself, just, needing to think about if you are going to be, taking out walls, right? It's
right,
steel beams.
right,
So you've got to cut through steel. You've got to think about those elements that are different from a residential facility
mhm,
or accessibility
yeah,
compliance. But when it comes to aesthetic things,
mhm,
one of the parts or I would say selling points for me that I ran into with my pickleball facility, which is doing awesome right now, and I'm so happy for them. But having the specific actual nets that they were going to be
yes,
using, having their logo, having the color of the floor and the carpet, and they had already picked out their commercial furniture.
mhm,
And what they did was they took all of that and then they used it as they were building out their commercial space to promote their
yes,
business. And so they took those renderings and they were on TV, they were in the local newspaper, and they were able to acquire memberships early before they even opened. It was a great, publicity tool
yeah,
for them, marketing tool.
yes,
So, I think of that. And then also, I'm sure you run into this too, folks trying to source funding. And then they now have a plan, a really professional thing, like,
yeah,
presentation that they take and say, hey, here's what we're going to get with this money. Right. And so, there's many, many uses, not just here's my design and this is what that JPEG is for. There's so many uses, not only for your business but their business
absolutely.
as well.
And that was exactly, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I've provided these renderings to my clients. They were able to advertise, coming soon,
Hmm.
particular coming soon ads, whether it's with social media or on their individual websites. And so it is very, very useful. And the other thing that I thought was very useful that I came across with, and it was very instrumental with a couple of the restaurants that I did, was that you can get the 2D imaging, right?
Yep.
Which shows you, where your placement of your furniture is,
Hmm.
whether you have HVAC systems, if you have those incorporated in your renderings, all of those things. And so you can kind of get like a blueprint of
Right.
what this would look like, in the 2D imaging and the export. And that is also instrumental, especially in commercial spaces.
Hmm.
They need to maybe coordinate with an engineer, and I've actually coordinated with an engineer on this recent project that we're working on, to be able to have the furniture placement, but also with regards to HVAC and ductwork and
Hmm.
electrical and all of those things. So it is it's very useful for
It is.
those of it.
It really is. While we're chatting, if you guys have questions, anybody in the chat or on the live, please feel free to, send it in. I'm going to kind of scroll through, but I'm trying to keep an eye on things as they're coming through. So I would love to hear a little bit about how you got, started. So tell me about your DIY
Okay.
journey.
Actually, DIY journey, during COVID, of course, you're home. And I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, there are things I could possibly do with my home. So you know, HDTV, you know, was probably one of my favorite channels, is probably with you and others. And, you know, I'm just looking around like, oh, I wonder if I can do that. Right. And so, you know, I always, you know, make this joke about, you know, YouTube University, you know, University of and TikTok Technical College. Those are the three institutes.
I've never heard the TikTok one. I love that.
College. So, you know, like those are the institutes that I use to be able to, you know, help me, you know, with some of those DIY projects, whether flat wall or, you know, color combinations, you know, different techniques, whether it was, you know, a plastering type of technique on a wall finish, or, you know, just different things, epoxy. You know, I've kind of played with a lot of, you know, different techniques in my own home. And then I would just, you know, post them on Instagram, or, you know, kind of talk about, look at what I've done, you know, this is, you know, you might want to consider. And then it kind of just branched out from there. You know, I had my first actual residential property was doing a half wall. It was an accent wall in a dining room it was a slab feature. And that was the actual first project that I had. And she became a return customer. We had other things that we did. And then by word of mouth, she then referred me to her best friend, who actually owned a real estate brokerage, Amber and Company. Shout out to them. And then able to come in, and that was my actual first commercial property, not using, you know, a Foyr program, just, you know, having a discussion about what that vision would look like, actually making some updates in her commercial space, which came out amazing, right? And from there it was the cafe, and then I had a barbershop that I did some work for, you know, in Bowie, VIP cuts. And so it just kind of expound from there. I was actually the barbershop was the first time that I was able to actually do a concrete finish on a wall, right? And gold leafing into it to give it just a little sparkle. And it came out amazing, right? Awesome. And so just, you know, just taking on those projects, and it expound to, you know, either getting connected with other individuals who may have had projects in their homes, or, you know, commercial spaces. I actually, it's so funny because, like I said, word of mouth has been most of what I've received my business from. And, you know, Amber referred me to one of her clients that was purchasing a home. And Justin, I did his home, and I did a lot of work in his home. Brand new home. It was a blank canvas, and I mean, just an array of things. And it came out amazing. Like I was like, and he would say to me, you know, I don't know, I'm kind of scared of color. You know, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, just trust me. Let me, you know, let me work with you on this. And he would just go along with it. And we did like a speakeasy in his office space, right? Because he was working, he liked this rich, deep, you know, plum. It was actually Sherwin Williams raisin. And that color, you know, it was just amazing, you know, giving vibe. And we did a gallery wall. He had these beautiful art, you know, pieces to display. And I'm like, you got this long hallway, let's make it a gallery wall. So it just, you know, expound from there. And then I had a couple of salons that I did. Actually did a salon for, she had a salon suite. Her name is Clara. Worked with her, maintain glam, and we did her individual suite, and that was the actual one of the first salon suites that I used the program. And it just kind of expounded from there, and it just to see how that came out, you know, from a program to actual implementation in the finished product. It's just been a game changer.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, what I heard you say a lot was textures and colors and materials, and Foyr can do all of that. You know, you are able to take an actual, you know, snapshot, screenshot of a fabric, a wallpaper, a paint color, if it's not already preloaded, and create your own swatches and textures and apply that. So, I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to what the program can do.
Said that because I actually did. Amazing author on Etsy does these fantastic wallpapers, right? Premium wallpaper, and he posted a Supermodels 90 wallpaper, right? And I was like, oh my God, I know where I can use this wallpaper. And so I actually we ordered this wallpaper and applied this Supermodels wallpaper in a female restroom in this salon building. And it just really came out amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of found it from there. I actually was able to upload a image and made sure that I, referenced that it was this wallpaper. He gave me permission to do so.
Yep.
We put it up in the actual rendering, and he was like, "Oh my God!"
Isn't that the best feeling?
So he just I kept posting it, and he was just like, "You are amazing!" Like, it just really kind of highlighted his work
Mm-hmm.
and his wallpaper into an actual rendering for
Mm-hmm.
a customer, and so that is where it is very rewarding.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
all
And
involved.
I can only imagine, how rewarding it does feel to have clients trust
Yeah,
you and, say, yes, I am going to do this. And I know you know what you're talking
with
about.
these
Um, we
love
did
it.
have one question come through that they asked, when starting a design, what are the first few things that they should really focus on and think about?
So one of the things that they should focus on is color scheme, right? Kind of like narrow down how what they want that the vision of that space to look like, whether it's color schemes, textures, wall
Mm-hmm.
textures. You're going to use wallpaper, you're going to use some type of wall finishing, furniture. Furniture is very key and important, and also functionality.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I kind of focus on. I start with the color scheme. I start with wall finishings or textures, furniture placement.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of the things that's key in any interior
Yep.
design project, right? And functionality.
Mm-hmm.
I usually try to make sure that I am considering the function of that space for that client, how they're
Right.
going to use that space,
Right.
right? So those are the things that are very instrumental and useful.
So there was another question that was asked and said, do you think using Foyr Neo saves time? And if so, how?
Saves a lot of time. One of the things that I like is, it's like I said, it's user friendly, and you're able to start with the actual room dimensions, and then you're filling in the rooms, whether it's flooring, right? I kind of have the idea of if I want wood flooring, if I want to use bamboo flooring, there's options for that. Go in and select the option of bamboo flooring, the color, add it to the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I want Venetian plaster on the wall, I can go and put in Venetian plaster in the search. It'll give me Venetian plaster options for the texture, and I'm able to use that. Even some of the color, the actual paint colors are
Mm-hmm.
from some of the big name, paint suppliers. Those are the things that are useful. It saves time. You're able to quickly put these particular features together in a rendering and then be able to
Mm-hmm.
present to as to what you're able to do for that particular space.
Right. And I would say once you get to that point, one thing that I do in working with my clients is, or, when I help out interior designers who, sub their renderings through me, is we gather all of the specific furniture pieces as well. And whether or not that furniture piece is already uploaded and you can keyword search by brand name, the model or, make of the collection, if you will. I feel like I'm talking like about a car, make and model. But that being said, you'll have those exact salon chairs or those exact coffee tables or whatnot, and then they see it, they see dimensionally, and then you have like a price list that you can put together, and it's like, do you approve? Check it off, yes, and then okay, let's go ahead and place the order. So I would say from a complete sales cycle perspective, it like takes it from here to like here.
Absolutely. Picking furniture pieces, excuse me, picking furniture pieces, being able to provide the client with a list, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then having those items come in and put them together.
Right. Exactly. So, well, we only have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to open it up to you, and please tell everybody how they can find you, how they can work with you, and any parting words you might have.
Sure. Please, follow me on my Instagram page, Rehab Queen 2020. If you are interested in having services, please feel free to send me a DM, reach out as well. And parting words, I would say, for those of us who are not traditional interior designers, the program itself is key, it's instrumental. I have enjoyed every moment of it, even the downfalls that teach you lessons as to what you can do better. Those things have been instrumental in kind of revamping some of the processes of interior design.
Mm-hmm.
But Foyr being one of my primary go-to tools, I would say that, if you're considering it, don't bother wasting your time. Just go for it,
Just
right?
do it.
Don't Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste time trying to contemplate, well, is this good?
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yes, it's great.
It's
And
great.
yes, I'm watching the questions come through. Yes, you can upload your own wallpapers.
Yes, you
If you
can.
take a picture of it,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yes.
can do that. And do you feel as though the renderings look
Yeah.
realistic?
Yes, I feel that they
Very.
do. And one of the things I've even with the 12K, I've
Mm-hmm.
had people question, is that real?
Mm-hmm.
It's not real, it's AI, right? And then I'll do a comparison of that image with the actual finished product, and they're like, wow, that's so
Mm-hmm.
especially the salon renderings that I've done. I have one that like I said, I've said earlier, I'm really excited to release those photo images because it was
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
everything, furniture pieces, the whole 9 yards, spot
That's
on.
awesome.
And to look at that rendering and then look at the actual finished product, that is convincing and it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
And
And
you're pleased with
then the client feels like they got exactly
it.
what you
Yes,
promised.
absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rhonda, for joining us today. It's been wonderful. And I will reach out to you directly and we will get
Please
together.
do. Yes, we have
Yes.
to. Thank you
Yes.
so much for the opportunity. I
All
appreciate
right.
it. Okay.
Thank you. Everybody have a great weekend and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.